Chapter 2. Hate Speech Dragon. Fuck China. Chinese-made fentanyl has killed more crackers in this country than Lena Dunham kicking it with Taylor Swift on Instagram. 45,000 pounds of fentanyl was just confiscated by Homeland Security at the border. So it wasn't the spring cleaning Obama was hoping for. Has Minnesota Rep. Babyface Omar acknowledged the anniversary of Amy Winehouse's death as something happened to a horn-hiding Benjamin lover who exploited the great Palestinian songbook for all it's worth? Hate is good because it motivates you to seek out places where your presence is valued and appreciated, like at a Trump rally behind your wife's back, to make your sex life above average again. Put my man meat in, Indiana MILF. I'm ready to play. Did you know you could be fined $250,000 for using dehumanizing language on an illegal alien in New York City? Like, no speak English? Who's translating these insults for one exactly? Now an illegal alien immigrant in New York City gets a driver's license to vote and a hate speech translator to bankrupt Apu at a bodega in Flushing. Did you see Ellen chilling with W at the Cowboys game this past year? Ellen claims they're actually friends. What do they share in common besides being pro-Bush? Seinfeld just auctioned off one of his Porsches for charity. I hope half those proceeds went to Larry's kids. Larry David tells the New York Times Trump doesn't have one redeeming quality. At least Stalin had one. Like what? Bernie Sanders' porno wing at Queens College? Anyone watch the virtual Passover Seder hosted by Jason Alexander? Did he play a slave afflicted from being typecast as a bumbling putz, only to be liberated as the chosen celeb has-been hack resistor for hire? Never criticize your wife, but what if she calls you a spoiled loser in front of your 3 kids, insisting your 3 books are nothing to write home about? Should you give her props for owning you in front of your 3 biggest fans in the universe? Sounds like a fair deal to me. If your wife knows you're a Trump supporter, she'll disagree with you on everything, even the need to buy your kid a comfier mattress since he turned your bed into a 24/7 open milk bar. I say, an avocado green mattress could make baby Samuel sleep in his bed all night long for a change, babe. Wife says, no it won't. I say, so Goop is fake news poop now too? If I have to hear one more time from my son, what can I do? After mommy has failed to engage him for more than a whopping 40 minutes, I'm moving to Utah to become a Peloton instructor to stay extra fit for pleasing my 5 wives, who will keep my kids occupied while I write my next hit novel, Do It All Dad Does Mormons in the process. Without counsel, plans are frustrated, King Solomon. You mean like not asking my mom if it's kosher to make fun of Chris Matthews on my blog for sexually harassing a new intern at MSNBC? Like the time he said, eating out Maddow counts as your lunch break, babe. Wuhan is returning to life, and so are its wet markets. They even have a petting zoo now. Tiger King will run it from jail through Zoom. The Tiger King is the redneck Trump. I liked the Tiger King until his boy toy blew his brains out because living off dirt bikes, free weed, and ass munching only wasn't enough. It's not like he was under contract with Universal like Rock Hudson either. CNN is in China's bitch. You should read how they write about the wet markets in Wuhan on CNN.com. You'd think it was a gushing review from an elite reviewer on Yelp about the farmer's market at the Grove in West Hollywood. Where else can you get chicken and pork at such affordable prices? Porcupines are only sold for medicine. Ever heard of acupuncture? MAGA country? Stupid. So stupid. Daughter asks me, what's censorship, Daddy? I say, Google, who owns YouTube, pushing their own self-serving narratives about the coronavirus being caused by a cute pet porcupine sold at the wet market in Wuhan because it shot a giant load onto Rita Wilson, who was in town for a film promo tour for her husband, obviously, because the porcupine never met a D-list star from Sleepless with Chaz in Charge of Seattle. Still, I got suspended from Twitter for causing social unrest. All I did was post a video of me barebacking a Shetland pony in North Salem, New York. I even let the horse shoot a huge load onto my face with no face mask on to prove with my Bill Gates issued coronavirus vaccine I'm more likely to die from being a Wuhan lab truther on Tucker Carlson. Are college freshman men today accused of aggressive dry humping? Can you get suspended for being charged with aggressive dry humping without due process of any kind? If so, I'm for the female accuser having to look her assaulter's fleshy head wound in the face to see who the real victim is in this case. Have you heard of Oprah's cure for racism? Kill off all the old honkies with the coronavirus, black supremacists like Spike Lee excluded. I'm helping my son color in a dragon in his dragon coloring book. I say, next time you see Baba or Mimi, and if they ask you what you're coloring, say, hate speech dragon. Son laughs a long time, and he doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Actually, his mommy accuses me of hate speech all the time for insisting her parents sound less tore up over having to spend another summer away from their grandchildren than Ben Shapiro skipping a speech on how to own liberals at the University of Delaware this spring. Worst vacation idea ever. My younger brother drives to Arizona to drive my mother back to New York this summer to do their best Thelma and Louise impersonation because social distancing can't keep a mother apart from her mama's boy no matter what. My mom is putting my 3 kids and herself in harm's way because her attitude is, at this point, fuck it, Trump's going to win anyway. I don't care what the polls say on CNN. Planetariums are off the list. Doodle dad advice. Don't take your kids to any IMAX film narrated by Neil deGrasse Tyson. First, God only made Neil deGrasse Tyson interesting for 2 minutes at a time max. Second, nothing is scarier to a 9-year-old girl than the thought of a black hole swallowing up Earth whole that no faulty mask from China can maintain a safe social distance from. No offense. Today for homeschooling, I helped my son write a story using the Pixar story mapping method. That went like this. Once upon a time, there was a soldier named Gung Ho. Every day, he'd get a new gun because he'd always lose the last. One day, he found all his missing guns. Because of that, he threw them all away except one. Because of that, he started talking to his lone gun until finally, Gung Ho married his gun. I had my son name his story Semi-Automatic Love. Can I get a holla? For a school assignment story to get my kid suspended from kindergarten for causing more social unrest than I ever did on Twitter. Holla! I don't like Jeremy Lin anymore because he's a fake news Christian. Sorry. If he was so concerned with spreading the light, then take a stand and don't play for the Beijing Ducks, asshole. I'm positive LeVar Ball could start his new tweener league with Lin as the semi-deplorable star in J.R. Smith's eyes. It's not as if Jeremy Lin is hurting for cash. I'm also calling Jeremy Lin a fake news Christian because claiming you still wanted to play for the Knicks after Lin Sander no matter what is fake news bullshit because I wouldn't have after J.R. Smith bitched about the golden child hogging the bike lane all for himself. I'm sorry, I mean no personal offense, but Jeremy Lin is a fake news Christian. Unless he asks Jesus for forgiveness for calling Landry Fields a Stanford grad, Jared Jeffries a cross-eyed hick who played for Indiana, and Steve Novak, another Midwest kid from Wisconsin who wasn't a founding member of the Onion, as hilarious. Alright, the championship belt thing was funny the first time Novak did it. That's more smile-inducing than hilarious. The PR director for the Cavs insisting J.R. Smith start conducting his post-game interviews off his hoverboard because he's high enough already is hilarious. I can't let it go. Again, I mean no disrespect, but Jeremy Lin is a fake news Christian. Using the word passion to describe Spike Lee during his interview with Steve Serby. Passionate about portraying all Jews as soulless, predatory, money-grubbing heaps in every single one of his films. To help keep Paul Mooney's inflated feelings of self-worth afloat, fine. I'll grant you that much sanity. At least Jeremy Lin didn't go out of his way to call the communist ruling party in China some very fine people. But what really burned me about Jeremy Lin's interview with the New York Post, besides the lack of provocative questions such as, so have all the woke Harvard Lampoon alum ruined late-night comedy? in your eyes? Or care to comment on the Asian American community losing their lawsuit against Harvard University for penalizing academic excellence by handing out school slots to lesser deserving students like hotcakes because Michelle Obama isn't proud of her country yet? Or Jeremy, how do you feel about learning your former alma mater gave Lolita Island owning Jeffrey Epstein his own private office with a private pedal landline after he gave the school a cool $10 million to keep those records sealed? Epstein was already a convicted, underage sex offender at this point, but giving him his own private, untraceable Lolita line at Harvard to scout new virgin trim to break in because they had their heads too buried in their books to come up for air until freshman orientation sounds kosher, don't you think, Lynn? Plus, do you really believe Obama is a baller at basketball, knowing he rode the bench at an all-Asian private school in Hawaii? Or do you know anybody who knew of Obama's time at Harvard Law Club? A friend from Columbia would love to know. Last, do you think NBC's heart was really into replacing Jay Leno with Conan O'Brien permanently in the first place, knowing Conan was a tad too eccentric nerdy compared to Johnny Carson for the Tonight Show's taste? Do you think Conan being demoted to TBS makes him feel like a resounding winner who came out on top, knowing NBC is just fake news, bullshit in bed with China now, like the rest, TNT included?